imagine going to the doctor for your regular checkup to get a prescription refilled, and then being told that you must take a mandatory drug test, and then 2 weeks later getting hit with a bill for over $1,000 for that drug test? Well, that's what happened to me after Kentucky House Bill 1 was passed. Kentucky House Bill 1, which is also commonly referred to as the Pill Mill Bill, was passed to combat prescription drug abuse in Kentucky through the close regulation of pain management clinics and the implementation of new standards on those prescribing and dispensing controlled substances, according to McCrearyRecord.com. This bill affects individuals all across the state of Kentucky who are prescribed to a controlled substance. I am one of those individuals being affected every month by this bill. I am prescribed to a controlled substance for ADD, and ever since this bill passed in July 2012, I have seen firsthand the negative effects it can have. Today I am going to discuss Kentucky House Bill 1 and 3 reasons why it needs to be revised. It is costly, treats patients like criminals, and prevents some patients from getting the medication they need. Let's first take a look at how this bill is costly to its patients. According to Kentucky.com, this bill requires patients with long-term prescriptions for controlled substances to take random drug tests, which can cost patients hundreds of dollars. Going to the doctors these days is expensive enough. Patients do not need another additional bill. The first drug test bill I received from Millennium Laboratories was for $1,392, but luckily my insurance company covered most of the costs and I was only required to pay $139. According to Kentucky.com, many insurance companies will not even pay for these costly drug tests because they're not medically necessary. This new bill can cost patients an additional $500 to $1,000 a year between increased appointments, higher billing for more complicated appointments, and drug screenings. According to the online article, Medication Bill has detrimental patient effects by Dr. Glenn A. Loomis. Now that we have looked at how this bill is costing patients, let's look at how it is treating patients like criminals. In order for patients to receive their controlled substance, they are required to take anywhere from 1 to 4 random drug tests a year, and they are also subject to random pill counts. Doctors must also run a Casper search on the patient every 3 months and before prescribing a Schedule 2 or 3 controlled substance. And this is just like a prescription background check. Patients are being treated like they're doing something wrong for going to the doctor and being punished for the criminal acts of others. According to Dr. Glenn A. Loomis, 99% of all patients are law-abiding citizens who are not doing anything wrong with their medication. Now let's look at how this bill is preventing some patients from receiving the medication they need. According to an online article by Rosaline Cordon, ER doctors are discouraged from prescribing more than a 30-day supply of a medication, which means a patient who may legitimately need a pain medication is forced to endure until their physician can physically see them in the office, because physicians can no longer call in controlled substances without seeing the patient. Some physicians are refusing to prescribe certain medications in order to avoid legal issues or time and paperwork required to follow the proper new procedures. The additional high cost of the bill prevents some individuals from getting the exact medication they need because they cannot afford it. In conclusion, today I have discussed why Kentucky House Bill 1 needs to be revised. It is costly, treats patients like criminals, and prevents some patients from getting the medication they need. I completely agree that drug abuse needs to be dealt with, but I do not believe that these strict regulations are the way to go. Hopefully you now also agree that these strict regulations are not the way to go and that revisions need to be made.